Well, good morning. Bobby Lee here from Hurricane Creek Farms, coming to you on what's going to be another hot and dry July day here in West Tennessee, but it's going to be a good day though. We got some stuff to get done, some of our routine chores and whatnot. Got some exciting news we'll share with you here in just a minute, but got feed, some mineral loaded up, ready to go check on stocker steers. Before we do that, y'all know what to do. Give the video a thumbs up. Takes you a split second. Subscribe if you haven't. And you know what would also be cool? Hit that little notification button. That way, whenever we drop a new video, you're alerted. You can watch, because why wouldn't you want to? But enough of that, let's get to it. These boys all over here lounging in the shade, patiently waiting on me. About 2, maybe 3 hours later than normal today, but yeah, they're just chilling out. I don't know how patient they're being, but they're waiting on me. Yeah, we had a little different morning today. Wife's been out of town for a few days, so slept in a little bit and then hung around the house, her and the kids, just because I hadn't seen her before we taxied them off to summer school camp, whatever you might call that. But yeah, get a little feed put out for these boys. So yeah, got a bag of mineral put out, but checking the water over here. One of the reasons we got them now moved to this pasture is because that's some of the only real consistent, real certain water we have for them right now. The other pastures on this place are either watered, or calves water by ponds, which ponds haven't gone dry, or in one pasture is a couple of springs, got some spring fed ditches they water out of that again hadn't gone completely dry, but it's getting questionable, so we obviously can't allow them to run out of water. But got them moved up here. They've eaten us down pretty good. There's still some grass, and they can go in another pasture. We've got a gate open, but yeah, not going to talk about the drought a whole lot in this video. I know we went drought discussion heavy in the last one. Try to be more action in this one, but just briefly on that, like in our last video we discussed how that we were classified as a moderate drought. Well, drought monitor that came out yesterday on Thursday of this week, we're now in a severe drought. Not surprised, because it has rained none since it had previously come out. So yeah, naturally it's getting worse, but starting to at least discuss contingency plans and what we're going to do, because these pastures may not support these boys until November like we normally like to do with them. Sell them right there at Thanksgiving. So I mean, it's fairly simple with these. If we run out of grass, it doesn't rain, we'll sell them sooner. I mean, it may be that simple. Would be that simple. With the cow herd at home is where it gets a little more complicated, because obviously we don't sell all them. We're already getting ready to sell a few, just any that check open. Those last calving pairs that we know aren't going to get bred back. The bull, you know, just a few animals that we knew we weren't going to keep for another year, but really need to get them off pasture, just, you know, lessen that animal burden. But who knows? The discussing it with my brother, he kind of made a good point. You know, we may be in a situation where we could just keep grazing them, let them just graze it down to nothing, and be okay. You know, they clearly aren't going to gain weight like we would normally like them to, but they'll be fine. But if we do that, then we kind of start ourselves off in the hole for next year. We don't want to be in that situation. So yeah, we just thinking about what we need to do, and really ideally just praying for rain. But to our exciting news, we bought a buffalo. So let's get in the truck. We're gonna go pick him up right now. Oh yeah, they polished off that little bit of feed. Now a few of them enjoying a little of that Vita Firm stocker heat mineral. Okay, so we just made it back home, and we've got our buffalo. There he is. Got 3 coolers worth of him here. So yeah, told you we were getting a buffalo. There he is. See if I can get my wife, see if I can surprise her. See how she reacts to the news. Hey, babe. Hey, baby. Ah, she's on the call. I'll have to surprise her later. Got the buffalo unloaded. Gonna unload a little bit of horse feed. Probably gonna go ahead and turn them back out. I'll ask my wife. She's kind of the boss when it comes to the horses. But let's be real. She's basically the boss anyway. As I look over here, up against the batwing mower, the pasture clipper, bush hog, whatever you want to call it, it looks like the bulls have decided to try to turn the mineral feeder over. So one of the flaws in these kind of homemade mineral feeders we made is that they're a little bit top heavy. It's mostly empty. They spill just a tiny bit. I've actually still got some in there. Just the 3 of them, they don't go through very much. Oh, we're gonna get that unloaded and get a few more things done. Looks a little cloudy. I mean, it doesn't look a little cloudy, it is a little cloudy. Don't kid yourselves. There's nothing on the radar, and the weather app literally says 0% chance of rain today. I think like a 3% tomorrow, but then today's Friday, so then 2 days from now, Sunday, and then Monday, both, we've got like 50-ish% chance, somewhere in there. But we've seen that movie before, and hopefully maybe this next version of it ends a little differently than it has been going for the last 40 days or so. I fed the bulls earlier this morning, just like I do every morning, kind of first thing. But when we were at the feed store, we went ahead and got some fly dust, which this might end up not working. There we go. I like this. I almost prefer the dust on these animals I can get right up close to over the sprays. But yeah, I may have to put the camera down, see if I can sneak around them with 2 hands. They don't understand exactly what's going on. Certainly don't know that it's for their benefit. We'll see if we can get a little of the fly dust on them, give them some relief. More on the ground than I am on them at this point. There you go. You figured out it ain't so bad. Oh yeah, I don't really know how much of that you could actually end up seeing, but they're covered pretty well. Of course, a lot of that near their back, they'll hit with their tail and kind of dust it around, but yeah, worked about like I thought it would. And I know what some of you are thinking, seeing me get the hay mower out, and no, we don't have hay to cut. I wish, but no, we're yeah, I don't know when we'll have more hay to cut. I mean, the simple answer is when it ever finally rains again, we might have some. But yeah, let me climb across here. You'll see the knives. They're not terribly dull, but getting a little dull. So we're gonna turn them over. Use the sharp side. These knives are, double-sided, so you can just flip them around like that. Should be a pretty simple, easy job. Famous last words. But yeah, we're bored. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else to do, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we're under a heat advisory. Actually, the feels like temperature right now is only 97, so not even really that bad. But yeah, middle of the afternoon, when I don't have any shade, I thought, why not? Let's turn the knives over on the disc mower. But hey, we got to find something to do, right? All right, just show you what we're doing. We already got that nut off there with the air wrench. I can get this line up properly. So got that off there. Set that bolt right there. So you can see little arrow pointing that way. That's where the blade turns. Well, these type knives, just flip it over. Boom, you got a fresh edge right there. Of course, this one out here on the end, on the last one, it gets beat up a little bit more than the others, but just flip it over, bolt her right back on, and you've got sharp knives again. And then, eventually, I don't know, no more hay than we have and are cutting. We won't need new knives this year. Maybe by next year we'll need to get another set of knives, because these will have already been used on both sides. But yep, just zipping those off there, the impact, putting them back on, and we'll have this thing ready to go. So that there's a relatively simple and straightforward job. Ooh, I wouldn't want to have to do that to 2 or 3 mowers. Not right now, not this afternoon, but get our stuff put away. Maybe ride back here and look at the cows. More importantly, look at the pasture. No, we said we weren't going to be very drought heavy in this episode. We're trying not to, but that's just really at the forefront of everything right now. While I was in the middle of that, one of the neighbors called me. I was talking to him. They're already feeding hay. Cow calf guy, in the middle of July, he's already feeding hay. And he's like me. He usually doesn't put up enough hay on his own to meet all his needs. So he has to buy some hay anyway. And yeah, we're gonna be in bad shape. He's already talking. He's gonna have to sell some cows. I don't know. I'm not ready to totally throw in the towel with the stocker steers up the road, but I think maybe we probably should, simply because we'll get them all off that pasture. And that pasture's not completely gone. It could hold them with just what grass I have right now for several more weeks, which would probably take us that long. If we started today on organized getting them bunched up and loaded and whatnot. I mean, we could do it faster if we absolutely had to have a fire sale, but don't want to do that. But then we've got all that pasture where things stay dry, like it looks like they will, you know, roughly speaking. We can split some of our cows from here and there and just graze them much less densely than we normally would be able to. At the same time, selling all our open cows, those pairs that calve late that won't come back and get bred on time. You know, the road cow like 503, just may have to really cull down hard, because we simply don't got more mouths to feed than we have food to feed them. But I don't know. And I say all that, there's rain in the forecast for about 48 hours from now, 2 or 3 days from now. But it's been like that all along. And the problem with a lot of these showers, even the folks who are actually catching them, they're catching like at most typically around a 1/2 inch. And I mean, a 1/2 inch would be marvelous. But let's say we catch a 1/2 inch, you know, on Sunday night or Monday, whenever they're calling for it. That'll be a little bit of a shot in the arm, but we'll still be in a drought. And then, you know, if it then goes another 2 or 3 weeks before we catch another one, or God forbid, or we're like 6 weeks right now, then we won't be in any better shape, you know, a week or 2 from now than we are right now. So there's nothing in the Gulf, nothing forming. Looks like from a tropical storm standpoint, that would really, I mean, apologies to all the people down on the Gulf that have to deal with the brunt of those storms, but if we could get one to hit down there, you know, and just bring that band after band of rain over a day or two's time, you know, and drop 3 or 4 inches in here, that is probably the only thing that'll get us back caught up between now and the fall. That, or if we just have one of these pop-up showers that just is super stationary, pops up over the tops of us and just sits there and dumps on us. And that could happen. I mean, apparently it's not gonna happen today because there's 0% chance, but it could happen at some point here in just the next few days. So it's, yeah, talked way more about drought and lack of rainfall than I intended to in this video. That was just a very real conversation I had 15 minutes ago. So I don't know. We're gonna jump on Pioneer, go check on those cows. They'll be all laid up in the shade right now, but ride around and just look at our pastures. This pasture, which this is the worst pasture we've got because it's where they winter all winter long. Then we put a horse arena in there and wiped out a few acres. And they've been in there grazing it pretty hard recently. But there's no grass here. There's not really much in the next pasture over. They're in the creek bottoms right now. So we only just got our biggest pasture across the way. But that really is gonna have to be the grass they're gonna eat for the next few weeks, right where they are, essentially. All right, so this pasture, I mean, it ain't great, but they've got grass. This is, well, in some ways it's our best pasture, what you'd expect the most out of, but this is all cool season grasses, and so of course it's middle of July, so you expect it to not look great. It's some of our best pasture ground, just these creek bottoms, you know, just better soil, holds moisture better. When we were row cropping, always, even in a relatively dry year, this ground would yield pretty well, just because, again, good flat bottom ground. But we're in pretty decent shape in here. I'm probably going to get them out of here, and they can go across the creek, and they can even go out there in the bigger part of the bottom. But probably get them out of here tomorrow. There's not much pasture in those others, but I've almost kind of dedicated them as like sacrifice pastures. I'm letting them really, you know, even overgraze those in order to more pamper these biggest two pastures. But yeah, here in the next week or two, we get them preg checked. We're gonna really be aggressive about getting it done in terms of whoever's open, getting them cold, getting them out of here, you know, getting them off the grocery bill, getting them off the feed bill. You know, we know we've got the 503 that we're getting rid of, the two that just calved that will sell as pairs. That bull right there, he's gone. But yeah, overall, this isn't terrible. I am gonna ride and look at that next pasture. They hadn't been in there for a while. I've been kind of saving it because we're gonna be going out of town and here in the next week or two, so I can put them out there while we're gone, and that way the person I have helping me look after things doesn't have to worry about rotating them or anything. Should be plenty of grass there, but I don't know. I need to go look. So again, it kind of here on further down the bottom, which we're just, I don't know, a couple of pastures away from where those cows are right now. You know, there's more warm season grass in here, some Dallas grass, of course Bermuda. So she's I'm trying to think, it's been a couple of weeks since I had anything in here. If all goes well, I'll be able to hold them off this for at least another week. And I don't know, I hope it'll hold on the entire time we're out of town. Just so he doesn't have to worry with moving them. I'm gonna walk down here down the tunnel there. But yeah, normally crossing this creek on foot is really hard to find a spot. And yeah, it's no step at all to step across that water. This creek comes directly out of the lake, just here to the south of us. I mean, from where I stand here is probably, I don't know, a quarter of a mile. But when I'm over back on our place, I mean, it's just a few hundred feet off of our property line. And they built that lake about 35 years ago, 30 years ago. I can barely remember it, and I'm 39. But they apparently or supposedly, my uncle had the place he was living in, my great uncle. It said that they wouldn't ever just stop letting water out of the lake, you know, and let the creek run dry. Which makes sense, because it's not just so our animals can water in it, but you know, there's wildlife that, you know, calls that creek home, little minnows and crawfish, and we have little wood ducks here and there, and turtles and snakes and lizards, frogs, all that sort of stuff. So and it's dry. It's not the driest it's ever been, and they're still letting some water out, so I guess maybe that is true. But yeah, of course, lots of weeds in here. We clipped all this down, what, maybe 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, there's grazing to be had in here. Cows aren't gonna starve to death. We're not needing to put out hay and start feeding hay immediately, but if we do, we'll be in trouble, because again, we're not gonna have enough hay on our own anyway. We're gonna have to go out and buy some, and everybody else in the same situation it's gonna be hard to find hay, and the hay you can find will be expensive, which, hey, I mean, that's supply and demand. So anyway, I'm gonna cross back over the creek, but get back on side-by-side. It's nearly 4 o'clock. I need to go start making plans to get my kids picked up. So I'll probably just about wrap this one up. We'll try to get another one out, get a couple of them filmed this weekend. So we'll be going out of town here in for too long, and so that way we can keep having episodes to drop for you guys. Because I hope y'all enjoy watching them. If you're still watching this far into it and I've just been rambling, you probably like it. So again, give it a thumbs up. We will have some more exciting stuff coming. Someday, I'm convinced we'll be cutting hay again. We're definitely going to be preg checking cows here soon, and then getting some of them hauled to the sale barn. I mean, I hope everybody's bred, and we have to make some tough decisions on, you know, if we want to cull some even bred cows. But more than likely, because that wild rose bush got me. More than likely, we'll have, you know, there's going to be some that are going to be open no matter what. And may work out to just about the right number that we need to get rid of anyway. But anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Y'all eat beef or eat some buffalo, because we're going to be doing that. And God bless.